We're going to talk today about selling and how to avoid the ups and downs of selling. How many of you have experienced the roller coaster of selling? 1 month real high, one low, real low. 1 month real low. Have you all gone through that? Okay, we're going to show you some things about that. I'm going to show you today how to avoid the ups and downs of selling. On your piece of paper, if you want to, I want you to put down a couple of numbers. The first thing that I know about my selling is the number of cold calls that I make every single day. Every single day that I'm not in front of a group, I will make 15 cold calls. In other words, what that says is I'm calling 15 people I have not spoken to before. Now, we'll talk about that later in terms of how that whole thing applies. What I know is going to happen is for every 15 calls, I typically get through to 7 people. 15 to 7. In other words, I call 15, I end up speaking to 7 people. Every time I do that, I set up 1 new appointment, which means at the end of the week, because I do it typically 5 days a week, I will have established 5 brand new appointments with 5 companies I have not met with before. What I know about my selling ratio is for every 5 appointments I go on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I end up making 1 sale, which means when I look at this, I bring in typically about 50 new accounts a year. Now watch, first question of the morning. Suppose I was to say to you that I did not make these 15 calls. What would happen? First thing, what would happen? That's it, real simple. What we realize is if I didn't make these 15 calls, then nothing would happen. Because I know that's going to give me the number at the end. That's important for you to think about. It's important in terms of the concept. What you also have to realize is that you have to improve your skill. Your skill level determines whether or not you're going to be successful. It's not purely numbers. If there are no appointments today, what's the chances of getting new business 8 weeks from now? None. In other words, what we suddenly realize is that appointments give us prospects, which give us sales. If you have no new appointments today, you don't have a chance of getting a new prospect. If you have no new prospect, you have no chance of getting a new sale 8 weeks from now. Now, it doesn't look that way because you're busy today or you've got a new sale. In fact, I'll show you something interesting. The money I made today, when did I really earn that? 8 weeks ago. What we end up doing now is repeating the process, which gives us this kind of a sales curve. How many of you can relate to that? Do you see that? Yeah, there it is. Do you see it? That is literally the ups and downs, the peaks and valleys that every single sales force in the United States, Canada, and England tells me about. They all tell me the same thing. They all say to me, Steve, we have these valleys. But if you looked at it, you suddenly realize there's a way to eliminate the valley. And of course, the key to good selling is really prospecting. This is what it looks like. Here's the first step. Here's the second step. Here's the third step. And here's the fourth step. Here's close, presentation, information, and opening. What does that tell you about the proportional weights for each one of these steps? It's important. In fact, I'm going to show you something. 75% of your work as a salesperson is done prior to ever making a presentation, and 90% of all the sales you lose is because of poor information, including pricing, by the way. If you lost the pricing, the odds are you did not know it because you didn't ask the right questions. Years ago, I went up to Connecticut to see a company, and I went in 3 times, and typically my sales is about 3 appointments. That's about what happens. Well, this particular company said to me, Steve, will you come back one more time? It's worth about $500,000. At least that's what I thought it was. He said, will you come back one more time? Now, what would you have done? Would anybody not gone back? Yeah, I went back. Well, I went back again. I went back the 4th time. He said to me, this is really great. Do me a favor, come back again. Would you go back again? It'd be 5 times. Would you go back again? Yeah, I went back. I went back 5 times. He said to me, this is really fantastic. Do me a favor, come back again 6 times. Would you go back again? 6 times. $500,000, 6 times. You would, yeah. Again, I went back 6 times. He said to me, this is really great. Do me a favor, come back again. Would you go back again? 7 times. You go back again? 7 times. I went back 11 different times. What do you think happened on the 11th time? They said, yep, hey, listen, we're not going to buy. We're moving to Atlanta. The whole company went away. The whole thing fell through. Never got the order. Now, why do I show you? Gerbil salesmanship. That's what that amounts to. I've got 2 kids. My 2 kids have 2 gerbils. They go round and around and around and around that little wheel. You know what I'm talking about? Round and around and around and around and around. At the end of the day, those gerbils are exhausted, but they've gone nowhere. Know any salespeople like that? Round and around and around.